Deep inside the most protected 18 acres on the planet, which is the White House, there is a secret. It's not a weapon, a code, or a hidden bunker. It's something liquid, golden, and technically illegal in most high-security zones. For decades, nothing was allowed to fly over the White House fence without being intercepted until 2009. That was the year. 70,000 foreign agents moved onto the South Lawn. They don't have badges. They don't have clearances, but they produce a substance so exclusive that you cannot buy it for any amount of money. This is the story of the White House honey, the world's most elite liquid gold, and the high-stakes operation required to keep it flowing.
When you put a couple puffs of smoke here at the entrance of the hive, it causes the guard bees to not be able to communicate as well, because a lot of the communication in the hive is by the sense of smell.
I mean, there's something a little disconcerting about, being surrounded by thousands and thousands of bees.
There are probably at least 70,000 bees in this hive.
The action process looks like something out of a high-tech lab. The frames are pulled, the wax seals are sliced away with surgical precision, and the honey is spun at high speeds in a centrifuge. What emerges is a multi-floral masterpiece, because these bees visit such a wide variety of plants, from linden trees to the herbs. In the kitchen garden, the honey carries a flavor profile that is scientifically impossible to replicate anywhere else on Earth. It is the literal taste of the American capital.
And uses centrifugal force to sling the honey out of the cells. So we went ahead, we extracted that way.
And you end up having like a big old bucket of honey.
We go ahead and let it settle for at least a week, I like to. Gets it nice and clear. Then, after that's been done, it's ready to put into bottles, containers, whatever size you want to do.
The next fascinating thing inside the White House is the kitchen garden. In 2009, a section of the pristine, high-security lawn was intentionally vandalized. For the first time since World War II, the soil was ripped up to make way for a hidden asset. Most people think it's just a garden. They're wrong. It is a biological engine designed to power the president's kitchen and provide a level of self-sufficiency never before seen in the modern era.
I was probably like most busy mothers. We were, a busy working family. And I would find it difficult to feed my family in a healthy way quickly. So I decided to change our diet. And this happened throughout the course of the campaign, and it was really simple things, adding more fruits and vegetables.
The White House kitchen garden was born from a radical idea that even at the center of global power, sustainability should be the priority. But planting a garden at the White House isn't like planting one in your backyard. Every seed, every bag of soil, and every tool must be vetted by the Secret Service. This isn't just agriculture. It's a high-security operation where even the fertilizer undergoes a background check.
We're doing our first till. We're churning over the soil, we're going down 6 to 8 inches deep, and then we're going to spread some amendments. We're going to use some sulfate of potash, which is basically just add some sulfur. We have a crab meal, which is going to add our calcium and nitrogen, which is absolutely critical. And our crabs are sourced from the Chesapeake, so we're keeping it in the region.
The garden itself is a masterpiece of edible architecture. Spanning 100 square feet, it features dozens of varieties of heirloom vegetables, herbs, and berries. These aren't just any plants. They are selected for their historical significance and their ability to thrive in the unique microclimate of the District of Columbia.
This is the first vegetable garden since Eleanor Roosevelt's Victory Garden in World War II. When we look back at the records, was actually had a really tough time getting it established. And in the end, it was a plot, probably about the size of one bed that we have here, that one of the daughters of somebody who worked here tended to. So as a sort of really productive, feeding a lot of people garden, this is the first one in well over 100 years.
What makes this garden legendary is its role in culinary diplomacy. When a world leader sits down for a state dinner, they aren't just eating food sourced from a high-end distributor. They are eating the literal soil of the United States. The chefs utilize these harvests to create dishes that are impossible to replicate anywhere else. From sweet potatoes to kale to rare herbs, the flavor profile of the South Lawn is a closely guarded secret that only the world's elite get to experience. Throughout the year, local students are invited to the South Lawn to witness the first harvest. For many of these children, it is the first time they see that food doesn't come from a plastic container. It comes from a relentless cycle of hard work and natural patience. They see how a patch of dirt, located just steps from the Oval Office, can produce thousands of pounds of fresh produce every single year. The maintenance of this plot requires a level of precision that mirrors the operations of the West Wing. The timing of the planting, the organic pest control methods, and the manual labor involved are all synchronized to ensure the garden looks as prestigious as the building behind it. It is a defiant stand against the world's loss of green space.
Our first major dinner was a small dinner of like 20 of the sort of nation's top economic advisors and thinkers. And we did the whole first salad was completely out of the garden.
The next interesting facility is the Marine Sentries. In this department, there is profound and heavy silence. It is found at a specific set of white double doors in the West Wing of the White House. Here, the transition of power and the daily grind of the presidency are guarded by a figure so still they are often mistaken for a statue. This is the world of the White House Marine Sentries, the face of the Corps, and the silent heartbeat of American executive power. To the casual observer, they are a symbol of tradition. But to the men behind the uniform, it is a grueling test of mental fortitude.
The White House for just a couple months now. I'm the rookie, that's correct.
The way it works is basically whenever the president's in the West Wing, we're going to be on post. And we'll open the door when people come in and when people leave. And obviously you don't have eyes in the back of your head, so when people leave, the Secret Service officer, they'll be sitting here and one buzzer represents a person coming out. You hear that? Mm-hmm. One buzz. If the president leaves the West Wing for anything, we'll come inside and stand by inside for, however long.
Physical endurance and absolute discipline. The presence of a Marine at the West Wing door is more than just a ceremonial honor. It is a functional signal to the entire world. When a sentry stands at that post, it means the commander-in-chief is in the office, working on the affairs of the nation. It is a visual confirmation that the seat of power is occupied.
Here, usually we'll have half a dozen cameras set up over there, and they're filming constantly, so that's good motivation to stay still, not twitch. Basically, I got here and they said, there's no talking, no smiling, no laughing on post, so that's all there is to it. So if you got an inch on the nose, just suck it up. It's hard sometimes, but if any Marine went to Paris Island, they can learn not to scratch for a few minutes, so it's okay.
But achieving that level of symbolic perfection requires a standard of preparation that borders on the obsessive. Long before they step into the public eye, these Marines spend hours in a meticulous ritual of self-inspection. Every metal must be aligned to the millimeter. Every brass button must reflect like a mirror, and the spit shine on their shoes must be flawless. In the staging area, they use rulers and lint rollers with the precision of surgeons, knowing that a single loose thread is a failure of the mission. We move into the next section, which is the Situation Room. This nerve center never sleeps. It is a place where the concept of time is measured in global crises rather than hours, and where the weight of history is felt in every whispered conversation. This is the Situation Room.
This is an interagency meeting on H1N1 pandemic, and so it has interagency representatives from the executive branch, departments and agencies. They have the technology here and the capability to bring in other departments and agencies electronically as opposed to having folks face-to-face.
The primary mission of this facility is awareness. At any given moment, a dedicated team of watch officers is scanning the globe. They are the eyes and ears of the nation, monitoring satellite feeds, intercepted communications, and real-time news reports from every corner of the Earth. In this space, a sudden spike in internet traffic in a remote province or a subtle shift in naval deployments halfway across the world is immediately cataloged and analyzed. This is the front line of information warfare, where the goal is to provide the commander-in-chief with the most vital, actionable data that allows for proactive leadership rather than reactive desperation.
This is the president's chair. He controls the video options, including the microphones. Now, the traditional lineup of seats is based on the seniority of the different cabinet members attending the meeting. Tied to the executive conference room is a small breakout room designed to enable the president to take one or two people into a conference room to have a small one-on-one session with them.
Main conference room, often seen in official photographs during moments of national trial, is where the president sits at the head of a long, polished table. Surrounding them are the architects of foreign policy and the commanders of the military. On the walls, large screens display a mosaic of data, high-resolution drone footage, thermal imaging of distant targets, and secure video feeds from ambassadors in the field.
So throughout the White House Situation Room, you have a number of phone tubes, or we call them Superman tubes, with the capability to have unclassified telephones as well as top-secret telephone capability.
Yet, beyond the screens and the secure lines, the Situation Room is defined by its human element. The men and women who serve here work grueling shifts, often in total secrecy, carrying the burden of knowing what most of the world does not. They are the ones who prepare the president's daily brief, ensuring that the most critical updates are served first thing every morning. Their work is a constant cycle of anticipation and response, a silent vigil that ensures the mechanisms of government can react to a changing world in real time. The history of the Situation Room is a timeline of the modern era's greatest challenges. From the tense days of the Cuban Missile Crisis to the daring raid on a compound in Abbottabad, these walls have witnessed the internal struggles and the final resolves of every administration since the 1960s. The Situation Room is a testament to the enduring need for a central point of command. The last and most interesting part is the State of the Union address. Beyond the famous columns and the velvet ropes of the White House lies a world hidden from public view. It is a world where every word spoken can change the course of history, and where the most secure rooms on the planet hum with a quiet, intense energy. This is not just a building. It is the nerve center of a nation, and tonight we are going inside the spaces where the most critical decisions of the modern age are made.
Largely because of technology. Television comes along and really over the course of a couple decades revolutionizes the State of the Union. And that's when the address really garners a wide public attention.
But the White House is also a place of tradition and grand theater. One of the most significant events in this theater is the State of the Union address. While the speech itself takes place at the United States Capitol, its heart is forged within these walls. The preparation is a monumental undertaking that begins months in advance.
We have all 551 members of Congress, all the representatives, 435, 5 delegates, a resident commissioner, and then the 100 senators. Cabinet members, the Supreme Court justices, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And in the galleries, there's probably about another 750 people who sit up in the galleries to watch the speech.
The history of this address is a mirror of American history itself. From the early days when George Washington delivered his annual message in person to the years when Thomas Jefferson broke tradition by sending a written report instead, the format has evolved.
Let's seize this moment to start anew, to carry the dream forward, and to strengthen our union once more.